I typically don't like making boot camp videos, but I feel like this one is something I've never addressed myself, but I get asked on a frequent basis, and that is about general orders. What should you learn before boot camp, your chain of command, all that stuff. If you want to find out all about that, check it out in this video. Stay tuned. What is up, guys? You're tuning in to Nikki MGTV for another military video for all your military video needs. As always, you can hit me on Instagram, Snapchat, or down in the comments below if you have questions. But as always, let's roll right into the topic, and that is, how can you right now prepare for boot camp? And that is something I get asked almost on a daily basis, and my basic advice. And I feel like now going into the military, or joining the Navy specifically, has been easier than ever and at a better time than ever in regards to empowering you guys to get further, faster, better, stronger, all that stuff. I say this because now they're offering $2,000 if you pass your first fitness test, which I did. They also allow you to get $2,000 for if you join out of high school. They're offering $5 grand for associate's degrees from what people are telling me. Also $8,000 for bachelor's degrees. As you can see, you have a lot of chance to make money, but one of those things is preparing to make that money. So that means fitness. I want to cover this first. A lot of people are like, what should I work on? Should I do push-ups, or should I worry about sit-ups, or the run? And that's difficult for me because realistically, you have to do all three of those things. There's no like split up of how that works. You don't like get the chance of, oh, we're just gonna do the push-up portion right now, or we're just gonna do the sit-up portion, or we're gonna do the run portion and split up. No, you're doing this all in one evolution. So you should be able to train your body to that aspect. And if I were you, I would personally suggest that if you have questions about the fitness test, yes, there is that entry level, which is like 18 and 16 mile run. Cool. If you couldn't do that before, I'd be scared for you even coming anyway. But I suggest most of you should be getting at least a satisfactory medium, at least. And that's because if you are in the Navy, if you're getting a good low, that is like you're on the brink, you're on the edge. You need to be above good low at all times in the military. If you want to do any programs, any specialty stuff, you should always be at that. So if you aim for that as your target, sure, but for that SAP medium, that's what's gonna earn you the $2,000. Many people ask about being able to do push-ups, and how females, especially with upper body strength, that's one major thing that I get asked. And my suggestion for anybody in this situation that has low push-ups is, while I understand push-ups are not your strong suit, what you can do are two things. You can do a plank, which is just the straight push-up lockout holding it, or two, when you do push-ups, do the full collapsible push-up, which is where you go all the way to the ground to where your chest hits the deck. To start training you guys up for boot camp, the ground is now a deck. What you're gonna do is lay on your chest and then push up, drop down all the way. So that way you're not using all those accessory muscles in your core and things like that to hold you up. And maybe that will help you just go through the motions of muscle memory and work yourself up to that, alternating between those and getting on a program. The website linked down below with all the scores and stuff that you would need, that is going to also have a workout program that they posted. That's I believe, official Navy one that will get you there supposedly in 8 weeks. It says it will get you at least a good on the next PRT. So if you can follow that, go for it. Next is the run. And this is obviously, you got to start doing sprints, intervals, things like that in order to get yourself to the full expectation. A lot of people go out and try and run miles upon miles upon miles, but the Navy fitness test is actually a kind of almost sprint. It's not a jog. Well, it could be a jog for some people, but it's really not a jog or a walk. You definitely should be running it, and it's going to take effort. So what I highly suggest of you guys is starting to do sprint intervals, doing the HIIT training, doing all that stuff. Start working with people that do this, because honestly, that's the only way. I personally have been one that's done lunges, squats, I did sprints. You know, it's going to really suck, but I eventually shaved off, I think, 1.5 minutes on my last one when I was at Field Med, and that was just all we did. Sit-ups, no one really cares about them in regards. No one's ever really told me they have had an issue with this. I mean, obviously repetition, keep maxing them out as much as possible. The part next is the knowledge portion. So a lot of people are like, Nikki, out of this start guide, what should I know? And the reality, and I hate saying this, is all of it. Realistically, me as a sailor, and when I look at that start guide that you guys get, it is literally everything I know off the top of my head. I know everything. I know the general orders, I know my rank, I know my chain of command, I know what a leaving earnings statement is. You're supposed to know all the terminology, the phonetic alphabet. Like, this is very basic level knowledge. And I know it may seem, but I don't think that should change, that you really should know all of this and understand it. That's because this really is, I think it's less than what a basic person coming to boot camp should maybe even be tasked with, because there's so much more to the military, which is why I can make all these videos about it. A lot of people are struggling with the Sailor's Creed. It's a verbatim thing. You need to know it. There's only one way to do it, and that is read it, write it, say it, do all those things as much as possible in order to get it down in your head. And this is going to take a routine of just saying it over and over again. Mind you, in the Navy, we actually say this several times a week. I personally say it, I believe, 2 times a week when we meet up for muster. You guys know what muster is? It's when people meet up to pass word of what's going on in your work group or station. So yes, saying the Sailor's Creed every day will probably be your best bet. Write it out if you need to, but learning it piece by piece is what's going to help you out. Next are the 11 general orders. Again, you have to say these on a regular basis. So and I would say the one thing that I see is, say you learn them, all 11 of them, right? And then your key to kind of see if you really know it is go study something else for about 20 minutes. Come back and ask yourself, do I actually know that material? And then that's really going to test you. How many of these do I actually really know? Next is the chain of command. Yes, you should probably be able to get yourself down into who the CO of Recruit Training Command is and the executive officer. They're going to talk about all that. But after the lower division chain of command beyond that, you probably won't know. But as far as the president, vice president, secretary of defense, secretary of the Navy, all that kind of stuff, you should know who those people are. Realistically, these 2 things of physical fitness and the mental stuff that's going to get you there to boot camp is going to be what will maybe save you guys from having to work out more than you have to. And trust me, people that are coming there not as smart in regards to remembering their stuff, or they came, they got a ship date within a week or 2, they're probably gonna have a harder time. They're gonna work out a little bit harder. People that have a hard time with weight or passing a fitness test, trust me, you will be doing a lot of PT as well, so be ready for that. I think that wraps up everything that I can talk about as far as preparing you, because I feel like people are trying to nitpick to see if there's a shortcut, and a lot of this, it sucks. Life sucks because there's not a lot of shortcuts you can take. If there was, I would tell you guys what shortcuts you could take, but realistically, I say this from my own experience. I could have been more prepared on fitness. I did run a little bit. I did do a little push-up, sit-ups, but I could have definitely done more. And then as far as the knowledge, my recruiter was like, yeah, just kind of learn this book. I just like randomly got it signed off, and I didn't really understand I was going to take a test on it when I got there. That was so in-depth. But yes, learning all the ranks. He told me, oh yeah, don't worry about warrant officers. We barely see them. Yeah, that was on the test. Oh yeah, what about the chaplains? Oh yeah, don't worry about those guys. You're rarely gonna see them. It was on the test. Mind you, this was 10 years ago, so I'm sure the test has changed since then. But as always, guys, if you guys do have questions, you can always hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, or down in the comments below. I hope you got something on this video. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.